Hey guys, welcome to Raw Customs. I'm your host, Patrick Rapolo. This episode I got some new props for you, which I'm calling the Power Packs. Now the kit comes with all the pieces to make 3 different Power Packs, guys. Now these are actually meant to be universal, to be used with different costumes and any way you see fit or need to add to your props and costumes, guys. So pack 1, guys, is the smallest one. First thing that comes to mind when I look at it is some type of communicator, you know, a CB, something along those lines. But definitely cool, maybe even a small power pack, something like that, you know, something that you can recharge something else with. Even something that you could actually add to a shoulder piece on a costume. You know, let your imagination go, figure out what you could do with this. Next is pack 2. You can see the size different on this. So this is the medium size one, guys. I've added some like dial switches in here, which you'll have the ability or the option to move these into whatever position you want before you glue them in place. However, if you wanted to go the extra mile, you could actually put a little work into it and actually make them where they actually are movable. Especially if you want to do some type of video or something, that might be nice to be able to actually do a little selection on them. I've also got the 3 circles up here. You could actually run, you know, some type of line out and back into it, or even over to the side. I actually have a couple of circles that I've added in the kit that you could put on the side here to run hoses from one pack to another. You know, just depending on what your use for it is going to be. Now on to pack 3, guys. It's just a little bit bigger than pack 2, but it is definitely a little bit thicker. Now pack 3 actually has quite a bit of potential, guys, for lots of different options. You could have it up like this, you could flip it over. I've got a couple of circles for the side as an option. It's a great place to run some hoses. So one of my ideas is maybe put it on a chest piece, have some hoses running over to a backpack, or actually up to a helmet. I think it has some real good sci-fi options for you to use in your costumes, guys. So another idea I've got on them is actually hanging them off. This is the brazier belt, guys, and I've just added some scrap foam to the back of them and velcroed them onto the belt. And this is part of the Weapon X costume I've kind of been playing with here and there. So I've got them hanging off. This one I actually added a strap to the top so it's adjustable. And on the back side I've added a snap button for a strap to go around a leg. And also with the snap button, it makes this where it'll swivel, so when you walk you won't be binding up your piece here. I've also just picked up some cheap cable management tubing here, guys, and my plan is to kind of run this from piece to piece, maybe up my arms and down to the claw area, something like that. So guys, the Power Packs are just like the majority of everything else that I put out for y'all. It's just to give you more options and hopefully light up your brains to give you more ideas to come up with your own style of costume and put all this stuff together to create something amazing. So I do have a kit as well as templates. If you're interested in either one of those, you can find links in the description area below. So as usual, guys, I've always got extra kits and projects that I'm working on to get out for you guys. If you're interested in see some of the stuff that I'm planning on getting out this year, stick around to the end of the video and I'll share a couple of those with you. For now, let's get to the build and see how to put these Power Packs together. For this build, you'll need the kit or the templates. If you use the templates, you'll need 3 sheets of 5mm EVA foam. For supplies, I recommend contact cement, Plasti Dip to seal the foam, spray paint, a heat gun, a rotary tool, a razor knife, and for the details you have an option of using an airbrush. The kit comes with the parts to make 3 packs, 1 of each. Start with your parts for pack 1. You have the front and back, the inside filler piece, as well as a little detail circle. You have your 2 top overlay pieces, as well as the pieces for the top, bottom, and sides. Start with the front piece filler panel detail piece and the top piece marked with 1T. Line up the filler panel on the back side of the front piece. You can use the reference marks at the top to help line it up. Make sure that the slots are all covered. Line up the top piece at the top edge of the front piece and make sure the top edges are flush. This will help you line up the filler piece. Hold everything in place and then trace a reference line around your filler piece. The top piece is marked with a T and has 2 grooves in it. This is to help you make the bends a little easier and more accurate. The marks should face to the inside of the build and the notches should face the side with the circle. For glue, I recommend using contact cement, and I like to use 2 thin coats on everything. Apply glue to the marked area on the back of your front piece. Apply glue to the bottom surface area along the angled and front edge and to the top edge. On the filler piece, apply glue to the top surface area and to the bottom side of your detail circle. On the top piece, apply glue along the front edge. Once the glue set up, you can glue your top and front pieces together. Glue your pieces together starting at the top corner. Press your pieces together starting at the corner and working your way across the top edge. You'll want to take your time here and make sure the edges are flush. Once you get to the end, you'll want to bend and roll it around your corner. This is where the first set of slots are and will help you make the bend. Then you'll finish it off making a bend at the angle and pressing everything together firmly. The end of the top piece will go past the edge around 1/4 of an inch. Next, grab the filler piece and your detail circle. Line up your detail circle with your reference circle and press in place. Then line up your filler section on the bottom side of your front piece and glue it into place. I recommend starting at the top and working your way to the bottom. Now grab your left and bottom piece. They are marked with an L and a B. On the left piece, apply glue to the front, bottom, and top edges. On the bottom piece, apply glue to the front edge and to the inside surface area along the back edge. Apply glue to the bottom of the face piece along the back and bottom edge and to the bottom surface area of the top piece at the back edge. Glue your left side in place starting at your top corner and work your way down to the bottom while keeping the edges flush. Glue the bottom in place starting at the left edge and work your way across. The right piece is marked with an R. On the right piece, you'll need to make a full beveled edge at the top to match the angle of the top piece. The right side is just a little bit longer than it needs to be to allow you to sand the bevel in a little at a time until you get the right fit. Once you have the side where it fits nicely, trace a reference mark at the top, then apply glue to the bottom, front, and top along your edges, and to the front, top, and bottom of your side piece. Glue the side in place starting at the bottom and working your way to the top. Next, apply glue to the bottom edge of your side pieces all the way around, and to the top surface area of the back piece along the edges all the way around. Glue your pieces together starting at the top edge. Take your time here and keep your edges flush. You can place your fingers in between the two sections while gluing them together. This will allow you to hold a break between the two pieces and focus on gluing down one edge at a time. This way you don't accidentally let two sections glue together before you're ready to put them together. With everything glued together, you can use your rotary tool to clean up your seams and round over the edges that aren't going to be covered up with your top overlay. On the two top overlays, I put a half bevel all the way around. A half bevel is around a 45-degree bevel, about half the thickness of the foam. On the long bevel, use a heat gun to heat it on both sides, and leave the bottom side face up. Then take a straight edge and line it up in the center at each corner, and press down to make a crease. This will allow you to make a sharp bend and fold your piece over. On the smaller overlay, you'll want to line it up in place on your pack and then mark a reference line on the back side where you'll need to make your bend. Sorry guys, apparently I didn't film that part. You'll want to heat and bend this piece the same way you did the other one. Next, apply glue to the marked area on your right side of your pack and to the bottom surface area of your overlay. Now line up the overlay with your reference line and press everything in place. Apply glue along your reference line on the left side and to the bottom surface area of your overlay. Allow time for the glue to set up and then press everything in place. And that's pack 1 assembled. And you can finish it all off by heat sealing it with a heat gun. Now on to pack 2. I've marked what pieces I could with A2 on. You have your back piece, front overlay, side pieces, and an inside brace, bottom filler panel, and switches, top fill panel, bottom overlay and top overlay, 3 front circles, and 2 thick walled circles. Take the front piece and the top fill panel. Line up the fill panel using the reference lines. Then flip everything over and trace a reference line around your filler piece. Next, line up your bottom filler panel, flip everything over and trace a reference line around it as well. Take the brace piece and line it up flush with the outside edge of the face to make sure there's enough room for the panel and where the sides won't be pushed out where they won't be flush. Now grab your switches and use a rotary tool to round over the top edges. Now take your bottom filler panel and line it up with the top panel. Then take the switches and line them up in the slots. Now you can adjust them to see what position you would like them to end up in. Once you've decided where you would like them to sit, trace a reference line on the top and bottom of each switch. Next, take your top filler panel and apply glue inside the reference lines for your 3 rings and along the outside edge along your reference line, along the reference line on your front panel, and to the bottom of your 3 rings. Once your glue set, line up your 3 rings and press them in place. With the rings glued in place, line up your filler panel with the top piece and press everything together. Next, you'll want to apply glue to your marked area on the back of your face panel and to the filler panel along your reference lines and to the marked areas of your switches, as well as the bottom surface area of the switches themselves. Now you can press the switches in place With your switches laid out, you can line up the top panel with your base panel and glue everything in place. On the front panel, you have a reference mark on each side. That's going to line up with a long reference line on your side pieces. You also have two short reference marks that will line up with the back. On your side pieces, use a pencil to transfer your reference marks to the top edges and to the outside faces. Apply glue to the front edge on both of your side pieces and to the bottom surface area of your front piece, along the edges all the way around. On the center brace, apply glue to the front and side edges. On your front panel, apply glue for the brace in between the two filler panels. Now line up the long reference line of the side piece. Glue the two pieces together starting at the reference marks. Bow the front piece at the reference mark. Take your time while doing this and keep your edges flush. At the top and bottom you have rounded corners. You'll want to roll the side piece around while keeping the edges flush. Grooves have been cut into the side piece to help make this bend easier. Once you're around the corner, glue down your top edge. Next, apply glue to the inside surface area of the side piece where the brace will set. Slightly pull the sidewall out and line the brace up with the top edge of the bottom filler panel. Now just repeat the process for your second side and glue it into place. At the center on the top and bottom, you will have a slight gap between the two pieces. If you haven't already, go ahead and transfer your short reference marks to the outside surface area of each side. Next, take the bottom piece with the two face up. Place it on the back side of the main assembly with the top and bottom lined up and offset where you can see the center brace. Make a reference mark for glue and then add glue across your line. Then transfer your reference marks to each edge. Apply glue to the bottom surface area along the edges all the way around. Then to the bottom edge of the side pieces all the way around, including your brace. Next, take the back piece and give it a strong enough bow that it will hold the curve. Glue the back piece in place starting on one side. Line up your reference marks and press your two center edges together. Then work your way from the center to the top while keeping your edges flush. You'll want to use your fingers to hold a break between your two pieces so that you don't have anything accidentally glued together. Don't glue down your top edge yet. Hold a finger break or use a scrap piece of foam between the two edges at the top. Then line up the reference marks on the other side and glue the edges together, working your way to the top. Once you've worked your way around the top corners, glue the top edge down, working from each corner to the center. Then just repeat the entire process for your bottom edges. On the top or face of my pack, I'm going to go ahead and round over the edges that aren't going to be covered by an overlay. This is also a good time to clean up your side edges. At this point, you can apply glue to the top surface area of your pack along your reference line, on the outside edge and center, and to the bottom surface area of your overlay that looks like an F. Once your glue's set, you can press the overlay in place. I recommend starting at the top left corner. Then glue your piece down while keeping the outside edges flush. Once the overlay's in place, you can clean up and round over the outside edge. On the top and bottom overlay, I recommend putting a half bevel all the way around. On your bottom overlay, heat the piece and line up a straight edge between your two side corners. Press the edge down to make an indentation, and then you can fold your piece over. Line the bottom overlay up with the reference lines at the bottom of the pack, then trace reference lines on each side of the overlay on the bottom of the pack. Next, place the top overlay on top of the pack, center it and make sure it covers the gap. Then you'll want to trace a reference line along the outside edges. Then apply glue to your marked areas on your pack and to the bottom surface area of your overlays. Allow time for your glue to set and then press your two overlays in place. The kit does come with a couple of extra rings. These are extra for you to use any way you would like. However, I'm not using them on this particular build. Once you're finished gluing everything together, you can heat seal your piece. Now it's time for Power Pack 3. And just like the other packs, you got your back, sides, front, and some overlays. To start, grab the front and 4 side. Your side pieces have grooves cut in them to help you bend and line up your pieces. The top side piece has an angled edge that will go to the top and face the front. Apply glue to the top, angled, and front edges. On the lower side piece, apply glue to the front edge. On the bottom surface area of the face, apply glue to the sides and bottom along the edges. Now take the top side and bend it out at the top groove. And line up the bend with the inside angle at the top of the front piece. Match the bend with the angle and press the two pieces together. Then at the bottom groove, make a bend to the inside to match the lower angle and glue the two pieces together. Then glue the second side in place up to the same point. Once your second side's in place, glue down the top on each angle, one side at a time. The front piece has relief lines cut across it to help you make these bends. You can run your finger along them on the back side to help make a sharper bend. Once the angles are glued down, bend over the top edge and glue it into place on both sides. The lower side pieces are the same on each end. Line up the center area between the two grooves with the angle at the bottom. Glue your lower side piece in place starting at the angle. Then make the bend and glue the bottom and side into place. You should have a small gap between the edges of your pieces. Next, take the top large overlay and round over the side and bottom edges. On the front piece, apply glue inside your reference lines and to the bottom surface area of the overlay. Glue the overlay in place following your reference lines. You'll want to work your way from the bottom to the top. Once you get to the bends, try to keep the overlay tight with each angle. Sorry about going out of frame a little bit here, guys. I had a small distraction and lost my focus on keeping everything in camera. Next, take your two rectangled overlays and round over the outside edges. Apply glue to your reference areas and to the bottom surface area of the two overlays. Allow the glue to set and then glue your two pieces in place. Next, on your face piece, apply glue to the inside surface area along the top edge and to the side pieces on the bottom edges all the way around. On the bottom piece, apply glue to the top edge and to the inside surface area along the sides and bottom. Bend your back section so that it holds a bow away from the glue edge. Then glue the back in place starting at the top side edges. Once the top sides are glued in, put your hand inside the pack to help you line up the top edge and then press it together, keeping everything flush. Now glue down the lower sections of the top side pieces. On the lower area, use your fingers to hold a break between the two sections so pieces don't stick together before you're ready. Line up your bottom corners and glue the sides into place. On the bottom, glue the two pieces together starting from the outside edge and working your way to the center. Now take the overlay for the bottom and two sides and make a half bevel all the way around. Heat the piece on both sides and lay it with the bottom face up. Line up a straight edge between the two angles. press down to give you a guideline and then bend the piece over. You'll want to do this for all 3 pieces. At this point, it's a good time to round over and clean up the edges on your pack. Take the overlay and line it up with the reference lines on the face. Then trace along the sides and bottom to extend the reference line. Apply glue to the marked areas on your pack and to the bottom surface area of your overlays. Line up your overlays with the reference lines on top and press everything in place. A trick to help with your smaller pieces is you can take some tape and wrap it around a popsicle stick with the sticky side out, and then stick your smaller pieces onto the tape to hold them in place while you apply glue to the bottom edges. Now you can apply the glue for all the smaller overlays using your reference marks as a guide. The kit comes with 4 of these larger rings to use however you want. I'm going to use 2 of them on this pack. I'll start by rounding over the top outside edge, then line it up on the side where I want it, and trace a reference line along the outside edge, and then glue it into place. Once everything's glued down, you can heat seal the pack. To prep for paint, I hot glued some popsicle sticks to the back so that I could mount them to be painted. To prep the foam for paint, you'll need some type of sealer. I like to use Plasti-Dip. I recommend using 2 light coats followed by 1 to 2 heavy coats. Once the Plasti-Dip's dry, you can spray on your base coat. I generally will use 2 very light coats, and I'll follow that up with 1 to 2 heavy coats depending on coverage. To add details to the paint, I generally like to use an airbrush, but this is just one tool of many depending on what kind of effects that you're wanting to add to your prop. You can also use paint brushes, spun brushes, rags, whatever you have on hand, or whatever's going to work best to get the effect that you're looking for. Here I wanted to distress the piece a little bit and make it look like the paint's rubbing off in some places by using some silver spray paint and a foam brush. Well, alright guys, there you go. The 3 power packs, guys. Like I said, I think these have tons of potential to help you out with your builds. Give you just a little bit closer look. Of course, I got some stuff on the sides. One of the things I did on these is try to hide all the seams without you having to fill or seal anything. So I thought I'd let you see the Weapon X build, kind of what I'm thinking on. Now I'm probably going to start from scratch and build all this and paint it all to match really nice. But with the cable here, this is really lightweight, which is, I want to keep the whole costume as lightweight as I can. But like the little circles here, I plan on maybe putting some magnets where they grab together here, and then be able to run it to different boxes. Like I said, maybe up the arm a little bit. Maybe even up to the helmet. Still not sure, haven't got all the way there yet. So to go along with the belt, you gotta have a Weapon X helmet. That's kind of what makes Wolverine Weapon X, I guess, you know. So of course you can always use this helmet for other things just by painting it up different ways. One of the things that I did was remove this big section here on the Razor armor to make it match that a little bit better, and it makes it more of a soldier type helmet in my opinion. Now if you're putting together a Weapon X costume, you have to have some claws, guys. So yes, I am making some kits for claws. I've actually put quite a bit of thought into this. In the past I've made some out of aluminum for myself and I had to weld them together. I wanted something that I could make and send to you guys that you could put together yourself and actually adjust them to fit your hand just right. So what I came up with, guys, is using acrylic. Now these are just meant for show. They're not that strong, so if you get aggressive with them, you're most likely going to break them. So just keep that in mind if you decide to order a set once I get them out. But my idea, or what I came up with, is putting this oval here, and you'll have a little rectangle that goes in the palm of your hand. I'm just going to use this claw as an example. This will slide in between or through the oval that's cut in, and you'll be able to set that in your hand and adjust the claw like this. So you'll be able to actually adjust it, and since it's coming in pieces, you could use a single claw, 2 or 3 claws. They don't have to necessarily be meant for Wolverine or Weapon X. You can use them for whatever you want, or Wolverine, maybe a werewolf or something along those lines. But once you have these set, you'll be able to put some hot glue on the sides to hold them in place, and once everything's set, maybe wrap them with some tape or something in the palm of your hand. But that's the gist of what I got going on. Another project that I'm still working on is the Razor armor, guys. I just finished filming or making the tutorial for the chest armor, guys. So that's going to be coming hopefully in a month or two. It takes a while to get all this stuff done, filmed, edited, and then a kit put together that's ready for you guys to put together. So, but this is it. On this one I put magnets inside, so when it comes together it clicks together. This is actually the medium, so it's going to have 2 sizes. The one that's up on Jeff the dummy over here, that's going to be a large to extra large fit, and this is going to be the one that fits, you know, a medium to a small. I've tried to put the adjustments in down on the side here for you guys, so you can pull it in or take it out. And of course, universal, so this is going to be meant to be worn by itself or with the belt, or over here with the ab section, guys. So that's actually filmed, so I'm going to try to have the chest armor and the ab section videos out back to back, maybe in a week or 2 in between the 2 when I do put them out for you guys. And now I have a new set of chest armor that I just got started on the design work. We had a couple of days where there was ice on the ground. I couldn't go to work, so came out to the shop and started playing around. This is what I've come up with. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't have this one set yet as far as anything holding it together like magnets or Velcro, but so I had to hold it to the sides, but you can kind of see what I got going on there. Now this chest armor is still in the design phase, guys. Still have a couple of changes I might want to do to it before I put it out for a kit. So it probably won't be out anytime soon, but it is something I'll be working on and putting out in the future. Well, alright guys, thanks for sticking around and watching to the end. I appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one.